What's up, people? Don't tell you how to live your life. Hey, Mike. Hello, nurse. What's up, Fegley? Thanks for the CAD. Appreciate it. I've been kind of going through it. I have not double checked the parts that I have yet to make sure that I have everything I need. But on its surface, looking through it, it looks like I have all I need. I think I just need lead screws for that next Nebula build, but we'll get there. That's a couple of months down the road here. So hopefully by September we can start that build. So I'm seeing a couple of folks here, two folks, 6 viewers. So wanted to do a members stream. It's been a little while since we've done one of these, and I wanted to thank you guys. So we're gonna be pretty raw and uncut on this one. The plan is to get working a little bit more on the SkeleFork, and that's what I want to do because I need to finish up this project before I have to shut down ops here in probably another 3-4 weeks. Help where you can. Yeah, I appreciate you. Gergman, greetings. T Moore, hello. Yeah, so I just want to get this thing moving, get a little further down the road. I've got today off, and so why not do a couple of hours of streaming? I want to try and make this just 2 hours, and I think we can do that. I want to get on with the day. I got to go pick up the girls early from school. They get out early on Fridays, which is really weird to me. I never remember getting out early from school on Friday. It's kind of bullshit, but whatever. No dilemma with a tool changer you want to build? What kind of tool changer? Because I want to do one of those as well. I have a ProForge 4 down here. And then this I want to turn into a stealth changer. My Trident 350 over there, I want to put index on that. And so I've got 3 kind of projects that I would love to get after, but again, just time and availability. Printapalooza weekend. Gergman, I think I'm going to do the same, kind of. So I'm going to go hang out with Reth and his family on tomorrow. So I'm going to drive up there, hang out for a couple hours, and then come back. And so I'm out all day Saturday, which means I'm going to push our Sunday stream to Monday. Now, I realize it's a holiday, and folks are going to be out doing whatever, camping, barbecuing, hanging out with people. But my wife is working. It's just me and the kids. They sleep in, and so I'm probably just going to do a couple hours, push our Sunday stream to Monday, and do it that way. Just got home from work. Welcome. Welcome home, Mike. 2.4, okay. I'm seeing my camera like zoom in and out as I move. Is that distracting for you guys? Do I need to turn that off? It's a little bit distracting for me, but if you guys don't care, then it's fine. Three Jabberwockies, but don't know if I want to do a 4th or build 4 A4Ts and do it from there. You're at work? I would say I prefer A4T with the cutter. I know Jabberwocky's kind of built for like the Stealth Changer 2.4 ecosystem, but it's okay. A lot of feedback that I've heard has not been positive about the Jabberwocky. I don't have one. I don't plan to have one unless Jason sends one over. Even then, I think I would just. But A4T has been great. Learning how to get CAN bus set up on your Manto with a CM4 and finish out your Trident. Pushing plastic as you go. Heck yeah, dude. If you need any help, reach out. If we can get there, I would love to do some firmware on this Manto with a, what is that? A CB2. Take the cutter out of it. Yeah, you could do that. I just like the A4T. It looks really cool. We put a 5T on the legacy fork, and that thing has been pretty good. For the little bit that I printed with it, it looks pretty good. I just get still like dropping of connection between the tool head and the main board. I really don't know what's going on there. I have not had the bandwidth to get back to that project and swap out that cable. Every extra bit of time I have has been dedicated to this and streaming with you guys. So I am definitely behind with a full plate. I think I'm probably forcing it a little bit to be able to stream, full well knowing that everything behind me, everything up here, all the things to my left and my right, I need to put in boxes here in a couple of weeks. So when I should be packing up, decluttering, downsizing, that kind of thing, I'm holding on to the streaming. A lot of people saying A4T is better cooling. Yeah, I think it's just the way the ducts are designed, the way that it goes together is a little bit easier. You don't need specific hardware as compared to Soul. I don't know. Dragon Burner's kind of the same, but Dragon Burner's really like a brick. A4T is more visually pleasing. Hey, Petty Bruxman. Same shoe with your own home repairs? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But cool, guys. I appreciate you guys being here. Much smaller crowd, which is my preference because I can actually keep up with you and respond back. So let's take a look at the project. This is literally where I left off on Sunday. I haven't really done anything at all. Again, just no bandwidth to be able to get to it this week. And I don't know that that's going to change very much between now and the time that I leave. I know I showed off a lot of the basement where we thought we were going to buy that house. Well, that deal fell through. And we're not buying that house now. And so I lost that basement. The good news is that we are going to rent instead. And the new place also has a pretty decent basement. Oh, no, I mean, it's good. It's good, Girkman. It was just a frustrating experience. It's just not a good market to buy a house right now. And let's measure this out real quick. I want to see how much I need. It'll be easier if I do that first. I think I'll probably just use that much there. That should get me to where I need to be. Part of life having to move. Yeah, this is our 6th move. So we're used to the ass pain of moving, but it's not the most fun thing to do. It's really stressful for like 3 weeks. And then everything ends up in a box or a U-Haul and you're driving across the country and before you know it, you're where you need to be. So you get maybe like a 5-day break and then you arrive and all your stuff starts showing up and you have to take it all out of boxes. And so you end up with another 3 weeks of stress. So it's going to be a frustrating 2 months starting in July. So that's what I'm saying. Hopefully by September at the latest, I get started back with streaming and stuff. That is the goal right now. That's my aim. The goal is to make that timeline as short as possible. This is not working out. I think this might be a little bit too small for this flat cable. This is split loom, so I can do that, but it's just not wanting to go in here. You know what? We're going old school. We'll just do it up here instead of trying to slide that through. Yeah, but the new place also has an unfinished basement, and there's a really cool section in the basement that has an uncovered foundation wall. So it's like a concrete wall, which in my mind is a blank canvas to do a really cool backdrop. I've got a couple of ideas of what I want to do there, but nothing's set in stone, so to speak. I am a little bit worried about how everything fits in the space. I mean, pictures are one thing, but until you end up in the space, it's really hard to know how to use everything. Oh, this is so frustrating, this stupid wire loom. I think because it's so small. I think this is 4mm. And it's just big enough to go around the wire, but it doesn't really want to. It keeps trying to come out. Well, we got about half of it, I suppose. If this lower piece will go in there. Exactly, you're in a mobile home and space is tight. Yeah, I grew up in a mobile home. I didn't live there very much, though. You have room in one small room for most of the printers you have? That's cool. At least you made a space, you know? Yeah, for this one, it's just a different layout. So right now I have sort of an L shape in the garage. I think I've talked about that enough. You guys should know that by now. But the space I have is an L shape. So where I'm standing right now goes like this, and then there's another portion that goes kind of back over my left shoulder. Less than 60 square feet. I would say that's about the size I have. My space is maybe 3 feet by 20. 3 feet by 20 down over my left shoulder, and then across here, you know, I have two workbenches side by side up here in the front of the garage. And this is again another maybe 3 feet by 10. So maybe I have a little more than, I have about 90 square feet, I suppose. But I have a lot of my filament on the wall. I have some built-in shelving, those kinds of things. In the new place, the basement kind of like the stairs come right down into the middle of the space. And so the basement kind of wraps around that center staircase area, which on its face sounds great, but it's in the middle of the space. And so it takes up space. Just gonna find some small zip ties here. Like those. We'll try to hide as much as that of that cable as possible. These are those crappy zip ties that don't like to lock. As soon as you try to tighten them, they break. Hate those. We'll just do little white ones, I guess. Hey, bearded printer. You got a big room for printers now? Well, yeah, Luke, you have a whole shop now. I'm super jealous. Remind me where the shop's located? Like, I'm going to Nebraska. It'd be cool to come up and visit you sometime. I did notice in Omaha that they have a place called the 3D Printer Stop. I think that's what it's called. It looks, from the YouTube channel, it looks like a repair service kind of thing, like you do, Luke. But also they sell product and things. So I'm gonna try to go out that way when I get settled and make some friends. North Carolina. I don't know why I thought you were in the Midwest. Probably because I meet so many people that I get you guys confused. All right, that should clean that up nicely and get it over to the Z-axis. Also, let me put some screws in this before I forget. So this is still loose, right? I think I want to bring the Z-axis up. And then I hope that there are no drop nuts in there so I can tighten this down a little bit. Let's flip this guy. That's why I like tiny printers. I can easily flip them. It's so much easier than a 350. I'll tell you that much. Okay, let's grab a pick. If you're ever in Maryland, maybe I will be. I think kind of busy. I don't know if I'll be in Maryland or not. Maybe. Ah. There we go. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to get these nuts in the right spot so that I can just tighten them down. No drop nuts don't really work with this particular frame. It is not an LDO frame. And so I had to actually print 3 different styles before I found the correct one. And after that, I was like, okay, I'm going to print 300. So I think I printed 300 of these no drop nuts. And I used all of them, or some of them failed, one of the two. And I didn't have enough to put here. So these pair of nuts just kind of float around. So I'm just going to do these up semi-loosely. I know the bottom is good. I tightened that down. So I'm going to tighten these, the ones that go to the crossbar first, in the hope that they pull the brackets down. Let's get this guy. And then once it pulls the brackets down, I'll go to the side and get those secured. And they don't need to be super tight. You just want them to not move like that. You dropped around age 12. I think I was a late bloomer. Mine dropped around 14. Around 42. I'm still working on it. All right, that's one cable we'll do. So it connects here. These are going to come in. So I really only need about that much. The larger the 3D print space, the greater the temptation. You're not wrong, Timur. That is definitely what happened over here. I had a 30 by 60 foot building at my last house that was a former wood shop, like a woodworking shop, cabinet shop. And it was just in my backyard. It had power. It was insulated. It was great. And I started with 2 printers. And over time collected up to, I think, somewhere around 20. And then since I've been here in this space, which is not the same size whatsoever, I've collected 3 or 4 more than that. And unintentionally have exceeded the capacity of the space. So I've got to figure something out in the next couple of weeks. And I get it. Storage is an option. We could do that. But that's another off-site fee that I would have to pay, and I don't want to do that. So we do have the basement, but there's also a 3-car garage. And in the garage, it looks like there's a small area where you could work on stuff. There's a workbench built in and whatever. You got space for more, but wife would collect more cats. Yeah. Yeah, mine collects plants. Actually, she just collects hobbies in general. She has an entire... So we have a 4-bedroom house right now, and we're moving to a 4-bedroom house. And her thing is like crafty type stuff, which could be anything, right? So everything from sewing to crickets to lasering to whatever else, wood burning and all of these things. And how much of that gets done each week? Not very much. So I think she's just a collector of hobbies more than a hobbyist. Seven printers, and that's, hey, I bet you it gets pretty hot in there if you try to run them all, though. She worked at a Michaels years ago. Yeah, we basically have a Michaels in one bedroom of our house. Oh, and by the way, her laser's out here with me for obvious reasons. So that's fun. I think I've used it exactly once. Getting your girlfriend interested in printers, she can manage to just forget parts at her house. There you go. I like the strategy. All right, that's enough fighting with cable sleeve. Holy Christmas. Okay. Let's move your camera down a little bit and try to stay out of your way. There we go. It's a little more better. Guys, you gotta yell at me. Can't see stuff. Modern problems call for modern solutions. Yes, sir. So yeah, the place we're going, really cool basement, unfinished. So open canvas as far as I'm concerned. And then 4-bedroom, 3-car garage. So lots of space for activities. Space right now is a premium. Space in the future may not be as much of a premium. That said, I'm still not trying to expand too much. It just alleviates the stress of having to downsize just a little bit. I still got to move all this crap, though. That's what I really don't want to do. Okay. I need a cable chain. Luckily, I have several. Which one did we need? Wrong box. I'll be right back. I gotta grab some more parts. Ow, ow. Oh, I'm so sore. I did a heavy hinge day yesterday. So deadlifted pretty heavy, bunch of single leg work yesterday, and I am very, very sore. More big printer builds. Digital Dragon, I have enough. Let me turn this around for you, sir. I am already pretty tight. Let's take this camera out a little bit. I'm gonna turn you over here to show you my mess. Okay, over here. And the camera's gonna get weird just because of the angles. I apologize. My room is really not angled this way. But I've got the H2D, right? Big boy already on casters. Back in the corner, you have the FL Sun, which is the largest printer that I have. And then right next to that, you have a Rat Rig 300. Okay. Rat rigs are already large for what they are. And this 300 could probably be a 350 Trident. Okay. There's a 350 Trident over there that you can't see off camera, and probably another 10 300 millimeter sized machines. So I really don't want to get back into the printer game, the large printer game. Man lives in a Picasso. You got the 300 as well. Yeah, but yours actually works, man. Mine has RadOS has driven me nuts with this machine. I worked on it for real for like 2 weeks trying to figure it out, and it's such a pain. Like, I really try not to complain too much, but it's not. If you change anything away from what they want you to do, it's difficult to do that. And I put a Kraken in mine. So that Kraken alone has just thrown me for a loop. I don't know why it has to be so difficult. All right, that should go, so that's backwards. This needs to go like that. And this needs to go there. So can I flip this? So yeah, I may just get rid of RadOS, use Calico, and do it my own way, which means I won't have a lot of the macros and a lot of the tools that are built into RadOS. I don't know if I really care. I just want the thing to print. It's a big investment to just be sitting around. It's never printed, honestly. K1 and Nebula 255 are the only ones you use in there. No experience with the K1. Hope to be able to get to the K2 soon. Or sorry, the Nebula soon. Dude, this is really not wanting to come off. There we go. So flip this guy. Sweet. Okay, so that should go there. This should go there. And I've got a nice Z chain to be able to take my motor wires and then eventually my bed wiring down. I love it. You're about to go through that. Tubes, Light Pros, Octopus Pro, Kraken, 5160s, 4824. I love it. I love it. The Kraken is much more capable than I'm running it at. It does have only 24 volts running to it. We could go 48, and I think that was my intention, but when I saw how crowded the electronics bay was, it really didn't make sense to me to try and put 2 power supplies in there. So I would say if you're trying to go anywhere off the beaten path with a rat rig, you're going to have to find some custom solutions, probably even custom firmware, because it's not as easy as you would imagine. K1 Max with CFS in living room with the frame of the 370. The frame of the 370? What does that mean? Pick of K1 Max in stream chat. All right, let's check it out here in a second. Is the K1 Max a 370? Holy oh. Dude, I don't know if I'm just like irritated today, but this wiring is making me angry. I think my body's sore, so I'm like whiny. There we go. Kind of. You almost had it. Almost had it. Come on. There it goes. All right. So that like that. And we're going to come around. And then that's going to go into there. All right, that looks good. I can adjust the length on that here in a second. Rig electronics enclosure is pre-drilled for dual 350 PSUs. You also found a print called Bum Bag. I did see the Bum Bag system. I didn't play with it enough to really understand what it was. It seems to be a lot of parameters and aligning parts inside the slicer to, I don't know, then boolean them together. That was kind of the gist I got from the project. I did not spend enough. I was just so frustrated with the firmware itself that that's where I dropped it. I was like, okay, this is too much right now for me, and I only have so much time per week to work on it that it seriously took me a couple of weeks. I still wasn't really all that much further along. And so I said, screw it, and moved on to something else with the intent to come back. And you know how that is. You don't always come back. All right, so this is something I'm going to do. I'm just going to add a little heat shrink to the end of this wire to make it a little bit easier to go through the cable chain, especially now that there's another wire in there. I don't see this really getting much easier. So just putting a little bit of heat shrink on there, or maybe some tape. I'm hoping that will help me get this through a little bit. And so far it seems to work a little better. And there we go. Yeah, that was a good thing to do. All right. So now we've got 2 wires through. Still got to get the bed through there. And it's not installed. So may have to do that here in a second. Uh-oh. Knocking stuff over. We have 1 each heated bed. Oh, 300, 300. Electronics enclosure pre-drilled. Yep. Just read that. I didn't know it was pre-drilled for the UHP, though. That's a good tip. That's a good tip. I didn't know that. I also have a early bird version. So my case was different than what shipped a little bit later, Luke. I'm not sure when you got yours. I noticed it when I was trying to do my Z axis and route the cables. I did not have a hole drilled where there should have been a hole. So I had to make one. So I think maybe mine is a little bit different than later releases. And that could be fine. It could not be fine. I don't really know. Oh, geez, I didn't do any of this. I said the one piece with the mount for a DIN rail. I'll post some pictures to Discord of what it looks like. Yeah, I'd appreciate it. Let's take a look at what Fegley sent over. Let's make some space, move some stuff. Okay. I'm not going to share my Discord on screen, but let's see if we could share the photo at least. Yeah. Let's see this. What about that? Check that out. That's kind of cool. What system top hat do you have on there? Zoom in at all? Okay. So you have like a extra spool holder up top, a couple of CFSs. Okay, so you can work with 8 colors. Great. Some tool drawers, some plate storage. And then looks like you can also still vent if you need to. Definitely a lot of use. Got your scraps in the bottom like a real person should. I love it. That's really awesome, dude. It's a nice little setup you have. To only have 60 square feet, that's pretty cool. And then you can see the nebula off to the side. Very cool. Cole's 3DP. Very cool, man. I like the setup. Okay, let's do some bed stuff. Hey, look at that. I found a no drop nut somehow, somewhere. Where'd that come from? Probably one of the uprights. Has to be. There's no other way for those to come out. So let's take a look. That one's good. Right here, probably. Looks like this front corner. So again, some of these are tighter than others. And when you turn it upside down, sometimes they fall out. Or on that side. Okay, cool. That's there. Let's make some space to work on this bed. But I am excited to get back to normal. Excited to have a new workshop space. It's always a good opportunity to downsize, clean, organize, those kinds of things. All right. You all have probably seen the technique of how to clean this thing and scuff it and stuff. So I won't go into it a whole lot, but what I have done in the past is, let me find my sandpaper. I know that I had a sanding block that I use for this kind of thing. Not exactly sure where I put it. All these, see, this is why we need to organize. I really need to go through all this stuff. Got so much like extra pieces, parts, wires, etc. that sometimes I forget what I do with it. I know that I got sanding blocks specifically because I needed them for this project. Now, what did I do with those sanding blocks? Downsize, clean, organize. I want to come here and do that when you... Dude, I'd love to come out and visit and hang out for a couple days. I am too late for East Coast Rep Fest, or 3D Printopia, whatever they're calling it now. And Midwest is, what, like next week or something like that? I'm not going to make it to those just because it doesn't align. It's going to be tough to get to Lone Star, but I'd like to go. In my mind, I want to start making moves to be able to go. You know, from Omaha down to Dallas is not too bad. Just going from California to Dallas is not fun. Or California to Goshen is not fun either. Yeah, I really don't know what I did with that. I don't see it anywhere. That's unfortunate. Well, sure, it'll be fine. How else could we do it then? I'm trying to think outside the box here. Like, how else would I scuff this? I guess I don't necessarily have to. It just helps. 13, 14? Yeah, so 2 weeks-ish? 3 weeks. All right, we're going to press forward because I don't know what the hell I did with it. And I've looked in all my stuff. So, yep, we're going to press forward. Let's just clean the bed. Top surface. We'll do magnet there. We got some recessed holes. That's how I know it's the top. Bottom side. Just give her a good clean. And press forward. So this is just some IPA in a spray bottle. Make sure to close it when you get done because it'll evaporate on you and then you won't have any more. Three weeks for Murph. Yeah, for those watching, who's going to Murph? I've not been to Murph ever. And I've heard good things. Like it's kind of like a hangout. Everybody brings like lawn chairs and just, it's like a car show. That's how I think of it in my brain. People just talking about stuff, hanging out, super low key. Rocky Mountain is the party one. But I don't know. I've only ever been to Rocky Mountain. Mike, you're going? Well, you should be pretty close to there, right? Okay. Wires go out the back. 3-point leveling, the one hole to the back. There's also points where you can put bed stops. So that's how I know that's the back. Get it right the first time, because you probably won't have a good time getting a second chance. I like to line it up to make sure that I'm taking note of how it lays out, that it's the right size, all of those things. And then from here, I'll just peel off these corners. Try not to touch the sticky stuff too much. Get this corner. Just kind of bring it down about halfway. And I'll do a crease to hold it. So I'm only going to do like half this bed. And I'm going to get my handy dandy, what do you call this? Scraper? Words are hard today. I'm going to get this lined up as best we can. Like so. We'll give it a press, and then I'm going to slide any air bubbles out. Oh, of course, like somebody would call me right now today. Squeegee, there you go. Words are hard. Squeegee. I like to use the hard side of it to really press on, but the soft side I like to use for the magnet so that I don't put scrapes and things into the magnet. It's a little bit softer, and it'll show that wear. I mean, it's already probably going to have like scratch marks, because when you take your bed and you lay it down and slide it back, that usually puts scratches in the magnet anyway. I don't want to accelerate that process, so I'm going to use the soft end of the squeegee. Once I get about half of that done, I'll reach under here, I'll pull this out to maybe like the last 10% and do another fold on it. Kind of squeegee that down the opposite direction, so towards the front. Trying to stay away from rubbing over the thermistor or the fuse that's built into this thing. We'll get the last little bit on. Do the same thing. Try to pull all of that to the front. Like so. This is also a good time if you're going to do a ground. You should probably do that now. Same if you're going to do an external fuse. I believe this already has that fuse in there. And thermistor's already good to go, so we're fine there. What I do want to pay attention to, though, is the hole for the mounting. I want to try to keep the wiring clear of that, so I don't interfere with the mounting at all. And then you can also install your pins here. So if you're going to add stops to your bed, you can go ahead and do that. I believe the magnet should allow me to use socket heads on this area. Magnet is slightly larger than the build plate itself. See that? It covers the whole thing. And it probably shouldn't. So we'll have to trim this a little bit. The way I like to do it is I'll install it offset. So I'll offset it to the rear, just until it covers the edge of the build plate, and then I'll offset it to the right, just so it covers the edge of that build plate. And then we'll just cut off this extra here. Make sense? We can go back and clear out the holes afterwards. So we'll need to use these two mounting holes here, and then the third one at the back. You here? We can start now? What's up, Kenny? Well, we haven't done too much yet. We're just kind of shooting the breeze. It's a member stream, so this one is loosey-goosey, no real plan other than to make some progress. And by progress, we have done a little bit of cable wrap on the AB motors and then add in a cable chain. We're gonna try to get moving on the bed here. I've got about an hour and some change before I need to end stream, so see if we can get the bed on, that kind of stuff. And then, I don't know, let's see if we can do some firmware or something. We'll get as far as we can. All right, let's do some, I like using socket heads here. And they don't need to be very long. 8s or 10s would work. You could also use, what are they called? Flatheads, because they have this V groove on the flathead screw. That'll prevent it from going too deep. The thing that I found though is it doesn't entirely stick up above the magnet itself, so when you try to put the plate on, it doesn't always stop it. For this socket head, it should stick up just enough to where your tool head should not interfere, but it'll be above your magnet, allowing your plate to grab onto it. So I like to use socket heads. Because we're going with an all black build, or mostly black build, I'll use some black M3s. Let's see, where'd the other one go? All right, can't find it, so let me get Dash over here. There it is. Got a couple of black M3 hardware. I'm using in 3x8s. That way it doesn't stick out too much out the bottom. Just put that in. You can Loctite these if you want. I don't know that it matters too much. Yeah, so with an 8, it sticks out maybe a millimeter or 2 out the bottom, which is fine. That's a 6mm plate, so 6s if you're worried about it coming out the bottom. I'm not. And I don't have many 6s left. Got to replenish some of the more popular hardware. All right, let's add this on there. Wipe it down. Get all my grubby fingerprints off of it. Look at that. Give it a turn and try it again. I'm gonna clean it until I get a clean towel. Still a little bit on there. Just let that sit for a minute. You've been blowing through M3 hardware, building heavies. Yeah, printers for ants, a lot of M3 hardware. And this kit came with a lot of hardware. I'm just choosing to use different hardware in certain places. It came with a lot of button head stuff. I like socket head stuff instead. And also I'm going off the beaten path a little bit. So I've had to dig into my own stash quite a bit to make it work the way that I need it to work. I think I mentioned this last week, but I've printed the parts to have a Y end stop, which is my preference. I don't have the I don't have the willpower to undo all the work that I did on this already to put those AB motor mounts on. I would have to unbelt the machine and redo the AB mount, and I don't know if I'm about that life. Okay, just like before. Just like before, I got my magnet. I'm gonna line it up with the rear edge here and this left edge here. Do my best to try to stay out of your camera. So that means I'm going to have some overhang, and that's what I want because I'll just come back with a razor knife, cut that off. Using the soft side of my squeegee. And if you go hard on this one edge, you'll be able to see the line of where you want to be. Now the trick is to consistently pull this off and keep your alignment on the left edge. Coming back towards myself a little bit. A little more here. Try not to get any air bubbles. Smooth application of the magnet. Good. Like so. Good to go. Now that's a little more challenging when you got a large 350 bed, but on these smaller machines, not too bad. Now that when I turn this over, you'll see we got this edge at the front, this edge on the side. From there, I just get my hobby knife. It's pretty sharp, so don't cut yourself. I'm kind of come in at like a 45-degree angle and trim along this edge, and then do the same here. That way I have a slight bevel back towards the build plate. And you don't have to cut it all the way through on the first pass. Just give it some pressure, allow it to cut. Some pressure, allow it to cut, and then come across, okay? And then what I like to do is just open that up a little bit by pressing down on that flange that you just made. And that's gonna open that line, that score mark that you just had. Try not to peel your magnet off. And then we'll do it again. And, you know, just do it a couple times till you get all the way through it. There are two gaps in this magnet around some mounting holes. This is made for all the printers for ants, so it incorporates micron and things like that. And so the slots are grabbing my knife, kind of pulling it away as I pass by. Okay, so there we go, just like that. We could keep working on that to get it through. But what I'm gonna do is kind of come through. I don't know if my knife is that sharp. I may need a new blade. Kyle Busch passed away yesterday. Who's Kyle Busch? Hey, the Mad Owl. Anyone a NASCAR fan? Oh, is he a NASCAR driver? Sorry, I was not paying attention here. I apologize. What do I think about the air show crash? I think it's unfortunate, but I think that I am very happy that that crew, those two crews followed their training and were able to get out of the airplane. But when you're doing acrobatics, you're taking risk. You are trusting that training for both folks is adequate and regular. Those two airplanes touching in the air like that probably shouldn't have happened, but mistakes can be made when you're dealing with humans. So yeah, unfortunate, but glad they made it out. That's my thought. So I'm just switching to something a little bit sharper. I was having trouble getting through this thick magnet. Need a new blade. Adding mods eats up hardware you don't. Yes. Yeah, he was sick for 2 weeks. Your son was a big fan. So Kyle Busch is a NASCAR guy. I don't watch NASCAR. And you said he was sick. Like, what was he sick from? Like cancer type stuff or what? Because being sick for 2 weeks and then like passing away, that's more than just like quote sick. A little ragged on that cut there. Let's trim that slightly. Rather cut too little than cut too much. Cool, that's pretty clean edge. Let's try to see if we can replicate that with any consistency. Cold sick? He was cold sick and died? That's wild. Like, what kind of cold is that? Yeah, I think I just had a dull blade on that hobby knife, so a really sharp knife makes all the difference. Because that just kind of came right through. There we go. Let's trim a little bit through here. Got him. Not much being said right now. That's wild. I don't know how you can get a cold, be sick for 2 weeks, and then just be like, you know what, I'm done. Like, that's crazy. Okay. But love for his family. That's got to be tough for those guys. Sport in the last 2 decades has gone down. First step was when they introduced imports. Imports? Don't they just like build a frame anyway and call it something else? It's not actually what it is. So does import really matter? I mean, aren't Fords built in Canada or Mexico? So they're technically imports anyway. Good morning, Nozzle Clog. Sent flow state for 200 joules. What is that? What is flow state? Is this a new YouTube thing I don't know about? All right, there's a bed. Now, how do we deal with the holes that we need for mounting? What I do, take a pick, kind of making an impression through the magnet like so. We'll do that at all the mounting points I want to use. If I were doing a micron, I've got these slots here, so I would go in with a razor knife and cut those out. But because we're dealing with holes on this salad fork, you gotta try to hold the magnet without poking yourself. Let's get that through so you have something to work with. Okay, so now I've got 3 points on my magnet. No idea, just tried it. Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard it. Flow state for 200 joules. That sounds like a Twitch thing, but I don't do Twitch. I'll check into it after stream. I get my chamfering tool, right? So one of these is super helpful. And then what I do is I just put the tip of that in the hole that we just made. Just give her a couple of spins. And it's going to hollow out that magnet right where I need it to be until I can feel bed. And so now I have like an indent in the bed. Probably get that a little more. There we go. Right. So I'll use my pick to bring out any of the trash that's left in the hole. And then I have a nice chamfered hole where I can put my hardware. YouTube said, hey, you have points. Gifts. Oh, okay. Thank you. I've never heard that, but yeah, thank you. You drill through the magnet from the back, then use a reamer to shave out the pocket. Very cool. Yeah, this is a chamfer tool. Reamer would also work. I don't want to go get my drill from inside the house. So this way has worked for me. There are several ways to do it. I just wanted to show my technique. I think what Luke is saying, Digital Dragon is saying, is also a viable option. If I had just straight holes, these are chamfered. Not chamfered. These are pocketed, recessed, whatever word you want to use, so that you can use a cap head screw or a flathead screw, I suppose. And so because of the pocket, for me, it just looks better if I chamfer. But if I just had a straight hole, I might do what you we're talking about with a reamer and all that. There you go. 3 holes. Cleanly as possible. Does it work with inserts as well? Inserts. And now you need to order a new tool. I feel that way anytime I watch anybody stream. You guys have so many different things that I kind of don't have. And I'm like, man, I probably need that. I feel like I'm not a real 3D printer builder if I don't have all the tools and the goodies. Like, I don't think I had reamers for a long time until Bill gave me crap on stream about it. And then I had to go get reamers. Just want to trim this front edge a little bit. It's a little uneven for me. So I'm just going to run this down. Put a nice chamfer on the edge of that. Okay. Get off. We'll sweep that up later. See, Bill is a bad one to watch. Yes. Yes, I was on there and I saw him. That's how I got this one. It was a couple years ago, but I saw that he had one of these chamfer tools. And I was like, oh, I gotta have that. That one sounds valuable. So that one, and then the other one, this one for like prints. So it's just got the little hook on the end of it to take elephant's foot off of your prints is what I use it for mostly. But you could run down the side of this thing if you wanted to. This for holes. Trying to think of what else. Oh, I've got a heat gun now because I saw someone like checking temperatures with it, and it is 76.8 degrees in here right now. So have I used it a lot? No. I also had to go get a reamer tool because of it. So yeah, Steve is a bad habit. Look, retaining compound because of that guy. I've used it once, twice maybe. So I don't know. I think over time, as you collect things, you end up with all the things. But hey, if you're not growing, you're slowing. You had to buy a set of reamers and chamfer bits for a build. There you go. Countersunk or chamfered holes would be better with the chamfering deburring tool you're using. Correct. Kenny Sims, you said, does it work with inserts as well? Does what work with inserts? I'm not sure. Does it work with inserts? Okay, so we gotta get the bed on here. Let me bring this rear down. Probably just take this tool head off to make it a little bit easier. We'll set that guy over there. Try to make some room so you guys can see. Here we go. Get the tools and stuff out of the way. Like that. All right. Let's bring this down. Okay, we've got our inserts where they should be. Let's just try to get them close by lining this up a little bit. So get that roughly in the center via my Mark I eyeball and move things over. Okay, this one's already pretty close, so there. And then this one just needs to be centered, which will happen as I do this. Okay, so I'm gonna start by removing my nudge. That way my bed can just sit there. I have a bunch of different hardware. I think what I'm going to use is 8s. So I need it to be long enough to grab the M3, but not so long that it bottoms out in the extrusion. And because there's not really a guide for this, I think an 8 may work, although it looks a touch long. So I'm just going to test it. put it on there. It seems fine. But I also forgot that I need to add standoffs. So standoffs are going to change the way we go. They provided standoffs that are just the M4 thumb screws, I believe. So like these knurled nuts, which is what most of these kits come with. You have a set of metric tap and dies. Same, yeah. So I drive a Volkswagen, which is a metric car, and then I build 3D printers, which are metric stuff. So all of my tools have migrated over to metric at this point. Some insert holes are not big enough to get insert to stay in place before applying heat. Oh yeah, you can do that. That way they grab as they go in, and then you just melt them the rest of the way. Yeah, this tool is great for that. I try to pay attention to that in the research phase so that I can anticipate it, and hopefully I'll be prepared to just jump in CAD and add those chamfers for myself. Because you're right, there are some designers that don't pay attention to those little details like that, and they forget to do chamfers for your heat inserts. I don't know that they're absolutely necessary, but they do help to get those in there. All right, so 12s are too short. We're gonna move to 16s with the particular standoffs that I'm using. 16s, I think, are the go-to. All right, so we're gonna start at the rear. And that is simply because the rear is gonna be a little bit harder to get to. I'm gonna place this, you see there's like a fat side where you can grab it. Focus on my hand camera. There's a fat side where you could grab the knurling. Focus. Do it. Do it now. All right, here we go. Come on. There you go. So there's a fat side at the bottom near my thumb, and then a skinny side at the top. The skinny side should go against the bed plate. The fat side should go up against the extrusion. So slide that on, and this is where it gets fiddly because you got to hold that in place as you find your M3 nut. And then once you get that aligned, just give it a couple of threads. So just a few spins here to get that nut engaged, and you'll know because your bed won't move. And then from here, I like to just slide this back because that screw's not tight. It should move. My no-drop nut's a little bit snug, so I use a tool to push it back until I can align the front piece. And we've got this nudge is in the way a little bit. Trying to press on this. We may have to take nudge off for now. Go ahead and remove that. I think I might have to print the low version so that this clears. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. It's me getting ahead of myself. Esoterical guide for the WAM Manta board configured with CAN bus. Congratulations, Gerg man. Yeah, esoterical stuff is fantastic. He's also got USB stuff. So if you're trying to use a Nighthawk or whatever, these guides can walk you through that as well. I learned that from Reth. Where is my smaller shorty? I need a shorty 2.5 millimeter tool. And I don't have one. There we go. All right, I think 16s are too long. I feel like they're bottoming out in the extrusions. See that? They're still, you could probably hear it. Still playing the bed when they're fully tightened. So if I had 14s, that would work. But maybe we don't need it to be super tight. That'll allow for some expansion, contraction. I don't know. We're going to press forward. I'll swap these out. These are pretty easy to get to. Swap these out later if we need it. Let's make sure that's aligned, because I think it's slightly off. There we go. You can do it. This one's going to be a pain. Third one always is. Let's see. Okay, let's move our... I'm getting in your way, I apologize. I'm trying to stay out of your way. And move this nut over. Okay, let's see if that works. There it goes. You have a few Nighthawk 36 SCS. I don't know what SCS to update. You have any shims? I do, but the holes drilled in the bed are the exact same size as the, what do you call it? Head of the screw. So any shims that I would do would need to go under the bed. And it looks probably like 2 millimeters. So I would need to add those in there. I can definitely do that. Can definitely do that. Yeah. Because right now it's on, but it is loose. I'm debating in my mind whether or not I want it tight, because with the bed loose, it moves about 1 millimeter or 2 up and down. It will be loose enough to allow it to expand. I don't know that the Z movement during Z hop would cause this bed to move enough to where it would shift. Until you got right screws. Just need to get the board installed and everything wired up. Hopefully no blue smoke. Hey, that's sometimes that's the price of success. There's a little blue smoke. It might shift. Is that what you're trying to say? Hopefully no. Down Undermaker's board, we shall went smoky yesterday. So you don't want that? Oh, did he burn up a board? Fegley, to your point, what we could do instead is I've got some M3 nuts. We could do an M3 nut on the screw itself, and that would do the same thing. So I'm going to do that. These M3 nuts are about 2.5 millimeters, which is good for this purpose. So, or we could use taller standoffs. I may have some taller standoffs. So now that the nuts are in the place that they need to be for alignment, we can do it that way. I'm going to check for taller standoffs first. And if that doesn't work, we'll add a couple nuts to these screws on the bottom side. That'll not only hold them in place, but then also give us the spacing we need. So I have, what is this? I have these red ones. So these red ones are resistant plastic. I forget what they're actually made of, but they look taller than the silver one here by about the amount we need. So maybe I use these red ones instead of these smaller metal ones. And then I don't have to jerry rig something together. Make sense? So I've got 3 of the standoffs. A Friday stream. Hey, Liz. Welcome in. Yeah, I got the day off, so I figured I would jump on here and let the members see a little bit of stuff. So we're just talking about whatever you guys want to talk about and trying to get this project a little bit further down the road. What is that? Oh, it's a click-clack door. I don't need that. Just solving some problems here. Our standoffs were a little short, so we're gonna need some longer ones. All right, let's try this one more time. Through the back, standoff goes on. Ooh, and there's roughly 2 millimeters of screw sticking out of that. I hope these aren't too tall. Let's see if that's enough to grab. Yep, that's enough to grab. So we'll go with it. This is why we're always prepared, kids. Have multiple pieces of parts. On live stream? Oh, geez. Well, I think Phil is used to burning up boards, though. Like, I think he tests that kind of stuff. I get home so late that I miss a lot of you guys. I'll catch Liz on like noon on Sundays usually. During the week, it's a little more challenging, but I try to get over there. Catch projects in Dad's garage every once in a while. Penguin Makers and RJ Repo Man. I try to catch as many community members as possible. I'm just in a weird time zone where you guys are so far ahead of me that, you know, when I'm still got an hour left of work, you guys are already wrapping up streams. Okay, just making it snug. What I will probably do is once we get it heated, I'll come back through and I'll loosen everything, allow it to heat and expand, just let it run for 30 minutes or so. And then I'll snug it there, not tighten, snug, so that it can expand and contract a little bit without warping itself too badly. But yeah, we got a bed. And let's see if our nudge will fit now with that extra tall standoff, and it does. So we'll go ahead and add this back on. So that was the trick, just having a taller standoff. And I still have to add wiring to this. So that's more that needs to go from the bed area through the cable chain down into the stuff. So I hope this very tiny cable chain can maintain all of that. So we've got an end stop here at the front that I need to worry about. And then I've got 2 bed fans. Actually 4 wires from the bed itself that all need to go through. I don't believe the cable chain I'm trying to use is going to be able to do all of that. So this small one here is only 7 by 7. I don't think that's going to be big enough to maintain everything. Which begs the question, do I need to use the cable chain anyway? It may just need to be like a bundle, an umbilical bundle. What do you guys think? That's a lot of wiring that still needs to go through. So what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more wires. And I've already got 8 in here. It's going to be very tight to get 8 more wires through there. Need a slightly bigger cable chain, like a 10 by 10 versus the 7 by 7. Problem is the next size I have is this one here. It says 10 by 10, but I think that's probably too big. That's wider than the frame slightly. I don't know. I don't know. How do I want to proceed? I might have to think through this one a little bit. I think maybe for a stock build, this would work. But for the build we're trying to do, I don't know if it will. So, yeah, I'm going to have to figure that out. Maybe there's a printable cable chain that I can use out there, something that's slightly bigger than this one. In any case, we can do some more wiring. So that's what I'm going to do. Try not to get bogged down. Let's try to get some work done for the next half an hour. I still need wire here. This is just a 2-pin, so we could probably build that. I know that I have some braided, not braided, I guess twisted red and black here for an end stop, so let's do some of that. I will definitely be wrapping this with a short piece of cable sleeve to hide it because it is in the front of the printer. And it's already pretty visible the way that it is. So any less visibility we can manage is what I'm about. All right. I think I'm even going to use a black connector here. So probably, what did I do with it? Hey, Clown Hammer, thanks for dropping in, man. We're doing a Friday stream. I got the day off, so figured I would come and spend some time with you guys. I need to, there it is. I need to move Sunday's stream to Monday because I don't know that I'll be back in time. And if I am, might be a little bit hungover. So we're going to push to Monday. I'll set that stream up for you guys when we finish up here. That's that. All right. Dropped it. You're doing your creative writing for your timesheet? What does that mean, creative writing? Creative writing for your timesheet. Is that like your annual report kind of thing? I'm not familiar with that term. I've been military too long. I don't know how to civilian. Come on. There she goes. All right, looks like good crimps on both of those. And like I said, we'll use a black connector here to try and hide that as much as possible. I wish they had black housings as well. Just haven't been able to find any of those. Fill in time for every hour worked and it's been slow. But why do you call it creative writing? I guess that's what I'm trying to ask. Or are you just like messing around? I don't know that polarity on this matters too much. It's an end stop. So I'm just gonna go for it here. If we need to depin later and swap things, we could do that. You waste a lot of crumbs when junior wiring. It's PSC you're putting down. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, but you have to waste a little bit to learn. I used to do the same, but crimping is not that difficult for me in particular. Where I get stuck is with soldering. I don't practice that really at all, and so anytime I do it, it's what I dread. Don't really know how much wire I need here, but I know I need enough to go from the front to the back, down, and then over into the board. So probably just going to give myself some extra room. We'll sacrifice a couple of inches of extra wire to the garbage can. So I don't know. This is maybe 2 feet, 2 feet of wire. So from here, let's go ahead and connect this. Measure this out. Let's come around the back through here. We'll give her a loop just in case I do route this into the cable chain. And this comes down side here and across. So we'll snip that about there. Crimping and firmware are your weak points. Firmware's tough. Firmware can be tough, especially when you're doing a lot of non-standard things. That's what I was talking about with the rat rig. Is I'm not familiar with rat OS, and then I also went off the beaten path a little bit using a Kraken and those kinds of things. They don't have great support for a Kraken. At least the last time I tried, it's been a couple of months. Last time I tried, they didn't have great support for a Kraken. And so I was running into a lot of problems to where I just wanted to forego rat OS altogether and use Calico. I never got around to it. So I know that they released a new updated rat OS that is supposed to be more user-friendly, better, whatever. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Probably just do, I don't know, that much, I guess. It's enough to get me under the bed to where we can't really see it anymore. So that's, I don't know, 50 millimeters or so, 60 millimeters. You try following the guides and get lost? Yeah. Primitive firmware. You have a friend in a Kick group who's helped you? KIK. What is KIK? Kick? Yeah, if any of you, any of the members want to reach out to me directly and be like, hey, can you help me? I'm willing to do that, guys. Just understand that I have a lot on my plate, so I may not get back to you exactly at the same time that you need it. But if you have some days or so that you can wait and we can work on this over time, I'm down to help. Don't be shy to reach out. It's a message app. Okay. I've never heard of that. But I say that a lot these days. Things are moving so fast. I am often the last to know. So if you're going to stream Mondays, when will that start? Or will there be a stream this Sunday? Kenny, I am probably not going to be able to stream this Sunday. So I'm just saying that I'm going to move this week's stream from Sunday to Monday. This is not going to be an everyday thing. Monday's a holiday. I got the day off. Um, Probably gonna have fun on Saturday night, so I don't want to show up Sunday really bad. So I'm just moving the 1 week. We'll try to stick to the standard time, 7:30. I might push it to 8 just to sleep in and be a little more cognizant of people's abilities to sleep in on a holiday, but that's what we're doing. And she has helped you a bunch. Who's that? Oh, the girl? Yeah. Good. 3 hour time to yeah. Well, I mean, it's not tough for me. It's it's tough to engage with people that are on East Coast time because you got to realize like when I leave work, it is 9 p.m. East Coast time. And most of you are not streaming or whatever at 9 p.m. You're doing family time or you're working on something else. You're doing real life. You still I could clean then? Yeah, you could do whatever you want. With Steve gone, you may do spring cleaning in your shed this weekend. Yeah, yeah, you should absolutely do it. There's never a requirement to be here. I just really enjoy having someone to talk to when I'm out here by myself. So kids are at school today. Wife's at work today. Uh, I have the day off, and so instead of just sitting around doing nothing, figured I would take advantage of the time. Try to use this tool. See if I can. Hey, that's so much nicer. Just running the ball end of a driver down through there allowed that to flip over the wire like I was trying to get it to do. Good. Yeah, I wasn't tracking that Steve was off this weekend. But I know that he was going to it just came out. Dang it. Look at that. It came all the way off. But I know that he was going to JERF, Japanese Rep Fest. So maybe that's why. Come on. I don't know how that just came out of there, but it did. You're East Coast? Yeah, there's a lot of East Coast people, specifically Florida for some reason. I don't really know a lot. It's like me and Steve are really the only California people that I know of who stream. So a lot of people are East Coast time. Hi, Keela. How's my Friday going? So far so good. We're just getting started. Um, it's only 9:30 for me, so I'm gonna go for I don't know another 20 minutes or so. Um, this is really just a chill build, just talking about things and stuff, hanging out, trying to get some progress on the SkeleFork. I'll be CST. Yeah, absolutely. Keela, haven't heard from you in a while. How are things? You guys have kind of been trying to get back into it. We miss you. I think everybody here knows that about Lee Marie and are probably subscribers there. We have a lot of audience crossover, but if you don't, Mrs. Lee Marie and Jeremy stream on Saturdays. And I think the last one I saw, you guys were still doing your Prusa build, your Core 1 build. All right, I think that's going to work now, I hope. Stay together. Don't come off. This little piece of wire covering is killing me. Doesn't want to wrap correctly. I don't know if I'll be using this again. There we go. Now we'll do a black zip tie on that. Color good. Busy and hectic. Okay. You guys are going to Murph and stuff, right? Like getting ready for that? Stream, yeah. Reth is in California and doesn't stream, but I am going up tomorrow to hang out with him. So I'll be in NorCal. I guess it's well, probably not NorCal, but MidCal tomorrow. You finished it last week and did a test print. Oh, nice. Yeah, I totally missed it. I was where was I? Oh, we went to Burbank. That's what it was. We were in Burbank all day last weekend. I had just gotten home. It was the first weekend that I was back. And so we went to Burbank for a day and played some arcades and had some sushi and just kind of did some family time. And now you want the U1? It is nice. That's what I've heard everybody say. I would like one. For me, I don't do a lot of multicolor stuff. But it would be fun to play with. Want to play with it. And I think I'll just zip tie that to there. Get a U1? Why? Why do I want a U1 so badly? I've got enough. I really do. I have been very fortunate to have as many printers as I have, and be able to keep them, even though most of them are in a stage of being rebuilt or modified or whatever. So realistically, of the there are probably 25, 26 printers in here right now. I've lost track, but somewhere in that range. Of that number, maybe 8, 9 of them actually are ready to print today. The rest are either needing firmware or I broke them somehow and just haven't gotten back to repairing it. All your toolhead covers will have more flare and multicolor. Yeah, you're not wrong. I'm not against multicolor. Multicolor on a U1 when I primarily print ABS is not ideal because the U1 is not enclosed. And I understand there's a top hat you can put on it and things like that. But there's not like a heater. There's not a chamber heater and stuff to make it really good for ABS. Murph is so soon and they have AC this year. Yay! If they have AC, I might be in. Not this year. I still have to move. Not this year. But if they have AC, I'm in. I do not like heat. I do not like humidity and being sweaty and clammy. It's just so gross to me. Call me bougie, but that's how I feel about it. And you can fight me in the comments. Prush is great for single color. Okay. Yeah, I'm really interested. I just saw that West 3D started carrying the Core 1L. I'm really interested in picking one of those up. I can't do that until we move though. So I'm hoping you guys have them in stock here in like a month and a half, 2 months, where I can order it and it like comes to the house. IKEA top cover, yeah. U1 is nice, it works. Mobile software is definitely garbage. Not polished, still change your index, H2C, you're still goated. Yeah, and there's an H2C right over there. Or sorry, not a C, a H2D Delta right over there. And so any multicolor I do, it's usually 2 colors, sometimes 3, but with the H2D having the dual nozzle swapping dealio, it makes it pretty easy over there. Plus it has the chamber heater. Heard they're on the way and ship from manufacturer. Figure out a chamber heater for your 370. I'll show you. Let me grab this. So this is what I'm planning to do. So this is the spicy meatball. It has a, what is this, a 500 watt? Yeah, a 500 watt 110 volt heater. So you'll need an SSR to run this. And it runs on Bang Bang. So this is just a simple metal plate. You can find this project on GitHub, spicy meatball. Simple metal plate with some holes drilled in it, and then some clearance for fan air to come through it. These are 50 millimeter by 20 millimeter square fans, axial fans. And you can bolt this to anything. So this gets hot. This blows air through the heater and into the chamber. So realistically, this can bolt to any 2020 thing. You can make it work with a 1515 just by bolting it on an upright like so. You can bolt it down here if you like and circulate air that way. Very, very versatile in that regard. You could also print something to make this a 90-degree angle and bolt through this way if you like. But this is what I like. This together, maybe 30 bucks, 40 bucks for all of this. And the only caveat is you need an SSR. So that's going to add a little bit. But I do these. This is what I use in my Vorons. Where am I moving to? Clownhammer, I'm going to Nebraska. Rather be cold than hot. Yes, absolutely. You have an HUD and is great too, just not the company. Yeah, the company has kind of, this is not the first time we've dealt with some bamboo controversy. So I'm sure it'll get sorted. Whether it's in the favor of the open source community or not, it'll be sorted one way or the other. Spectrum working with Snapmaker is going to be huge for them. Needs a 300. Yes. If it were a 300, I'd be a lot more inclined to pick up a U1. Pestering Dan to order the Panda Treats. Please, I don't know. That thing is so niche, Keela. It's cool. It's a novelty, but it's not for me. There's probably a group of folks out there that want the Panda Treat, and it'll be great for them. Not this guy, though. You did mop training 4 in August while in Alabama, lightweight. I'm sure it was, Kenny. Sounds like a big fish story to me. Thought about going there or Wyoming. Wyoming's cool. I think, yeah, we're not going through Wyoming. Never mind. Good for Nebula and just to have to see Sizz. So while testing 6-head tool changer, I did see that on their Twitter. And I saw that on the Unspooled podcast the other day. They were talking about some of that stuff. Okay, what else can we do? I guess I can create some mains wiring back here. I got to pull up a good schematic of that. Let's see what we can find. Unless you're doing cookies or treats for wedding. Yeah, it's niche. It's cool. You can make cookies with what? Yeah, there you go. And you can make them for Murph. You can see good money if you had a huge A1 farm. Yeah. Suppose you do that anyways, though, just with frosting. Sorry, my headphones are falling out. Yeah, check it out. I got these sweet Bluetooth headphones. Wedding money, let's go. Okay, we want to find, this is an IEC 13, let's see, pinout, I guess? No, not pinout. Let's do wiring diagram. Let's do that. To see if you could mod into one of them. Oh, Panda Heater. Panda Heater could be cool. Panda Heater is really geared toward the P1 or the X1. In my X1, before Panda Breath came out, I did like a similar thing. So the one that I have is an ABS printed housing. It's got one of those heaters in there that I just showed you, like one of these, and a larger blower fan like a 120/30 or something like that in there, and I use that for heating. But it taps into the power supply on the printer itself. It doesn't have to have a separate AC power like the Panda Breath. Infomec MX and MX Pro will be at the Japan show with their 8 tool changer. I looked at that, went to their website, and looking at their website, it says call for a quote or email for a quote. That tells me it's probably outside the budget. It's probably outside the budget. Where is the right? I know I had this somewhere. I'm just not remembering. Let's try this. Panda heater in the U1 is awesome. Does it fit? You got a great deal. Yeah, if you can find deals on this stuff, then go for it, right? It's not always the case. You can't really rely on that. Okay, so I'm gonna use this photo. This is on the Facebooks. Their stuff doesn't look right, but this picture does. That looks like what we're using over here. And I'm gonna flip this over. Probably gonna lose some of those quote no drop nuts, but yep, there goes one. We'll try to remember to put that back in. Okay, this is what we're working on, and you can't really see very good into the back of this, no matter how I orient. So it's actually not as easy as I thought it was going to be to reach. So back over we go. And try to get you a good angle. Let's try this other camera. It's a little better. Let's move this. Sorry if I make you a little bit nauseous. You can kind of see what I want to work on here. So to be this guy, and it looks a little dark. Let me play with the settings on this. Let's see, let's do I think that's about as good as I'm going to be able to get in the back under the poop chute. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't tracking that it would fit in there. But if it does, right, U1 with a Panda Breath, and you can make it work, that is interesting to me. I'll take a look. I know I'm not looking at an X2D. I was really disappointed about that when that came out. I'm trying to see if there is any labels on the back of this thing that I could capitalize on to give me some direction on how to do it. I mean, the picture is exactly the kind that I have. So I'm just going to go off the picture that we saw there. Let's see. Let's get some wire. And I have some thicker wire down below. Let's take it off this old power supply I have down here. So this is what I pulled out of. This is a 150/48. I think I took this out of, probably my V2 when we were redoing that. I think I put a UHP in there. So the benefit, though, is that I already have some wire here. These already have crimp terminals on it. So really all I need to do is put more spade connectors on this end and probably shorten this up a little bit. That'll save us from having to do all new wiring. It just fits. Yeah, I'm seeing your message come through. let's pull this off of here. I mean, you probably can't see this. I apologize. But I'm just taking the terminals off. So I just got these fork terminals already done. So I'm just going to reuse this wire. That way we don't end up with a bunch of extra stuff laying around all over the place. All right, so we'll put that to the side. Come out here and clean up at some point this weekend. Okay, so I know that our ground is good to go. So we'll just get these wires on and we'll probably call stream. We're about 5 minutes out, unless you guys want to shoot the breeze a little bit, and I can do this later. You tell me, what do you guys want in the chat? Want a couple more minutes on this, or do you want to talk shop? Because we're talking about U1s and Panda heaters and Infomech MX, which I'm not familiar with. We could take a look at that and talk about that. No opinions? Ooh, I thought I was going to be smart and use these fork terminals, but it does not look like they would fit in here. Well, hold on. Let's remove this screw totally and then put this in there. And then it looks like it fits. That's good, because now even if this screw does come loose, that terminal doesn't fall off. Should probably get a smaller screwdriver here. Bone can kick rocks. Need to redo them. You've got 8 totes? Holy, I missed so much. I think the P2S versus X2D. X2D is improved belts, VFAs, heater, etc. for 100 smackaroos. Yes. I already own the P2S. If I did not own the P2S and I was going to get another Bambu Lab printer, I would think that the X2D makes sense. But with the P2S here and working just as well as my X1 carbon that I got 4 years ago, it doesn't make as much sense. Eight totes of different sizes of 3D printing parts and everything. I am with you. I promise I will, when we start packing up to get out of here and I load this U-Haul with all of my 3D printing crap, I'll take a photo and I'll make sure that we post it in Discord and here on YouTube for members, and give you guys a behind the scenes of like actually how much crap I was able to shove into about 90 square feet. You would be surprised. The people who purchased the P2S got boned. Yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, other than LiDAR scanner and all that, what were you saying? Let's say you said improved belts. I think you mean 1.5 GT. VFAs, that comes from the belt. Chamber heater, yes. When you say etc., I can't think of etc. in terms of what the X2D provides that the P2S does not. Heater, absolutely, that would be helpful. I added on the additional fan, the side cooling fan, and so I let that run when the heater prints up, or when the printer heats up, and that acts like a bed fan. And the software allows for it. So it acts as a bed fan to warm the chamber. I can get that thing pretty close to like 55°C without a heater. Prior to X2D, but it is a great printer over the P1S and X1C. Yes. Yes. You're done with Bamboo Lab. 12 printers yourself over 2 rooms. You get how much superfluous extra stuff there is. Yeah, imagine Gergman doubling the number of printers. How much extra stuff you would have. And that's where I'm at. Okay, we need spade terminals. Do I even have any? I have not used them in so long. I hope I have some. And I don't. I actually am completely out of spade terminals. Well, that was really smart. Well, that's okay. I got to run out to the store anyway. I'll pick some up from the AutoZone or something. Okay. Well, it's a good point to wrap the stream then. LiDAR. LiDAR, yeah. You wanted the P2S to replace your P1S solid printer. ABS all the time without a heater in it definitely works. Yeah, same. With the P2S, I have not had complaints. The issue that I have with the X2D is like everything's an add-on. To claim that we are a company that makes something streamlined and neat and we are aesthetically focused when everything is just added onto the back of the machine, it just leads me to believe that we didn't think about that from the start and just incorporate that into the shell. So where it can be hidden with a back panel or whatever. I feel like those things should have been built in, not just added on at the last minute. And so it didn't hit the same way that it hit when it first launched the X1 Carbon. You were against it until you realized for $100 more minus the second hot end, you may not use as often with size for supports. It does seem like a bad deal. Yeah. I mean, if you're not into it, just use it as a single nozzle printer and you'll have all the capability that you would otherwise have. It's not a big deal. H2D is a solid ABS, yes, but you're going to pay for it. That's the trade-off. Mine has the vision encoder. It's got the Panda perch. I did the upgraded faceplate on it to improve the hot end cooling. It's got the high temp AMS on there. So that one is a pretty spoiled machine. Nickel and diming like Apple, correct. But folks, I do need to get running. I appreciate all 13 of you hanging out until the end of the stream. I will be back on Monday is the plan to sort of wrap up the week. So moving Sunday stream to Monday. That's going to post here in maybe the next hour or so, depending on when I can get to it. And it'll be out there for you guys to join on Monday. It's going to be a public stream. This was a member stream, so I appreciate the banter. We could talk a little more open and free about anything you guys wanted to talk about. And so I appreciate the engagement. So don't party too hard. I'll do my best. It doesn't take much for me these days. I don't drink a lot. And I look a certain way, but I promise you, I'm a small guy. I'm a little guy. Have a good weekend, Keela. Seeing a fully kitted H2D looks like an AutoZone sponsored car. Yeah, if you add everything on, it does. But I needed it for the 2 AMS on top. Like it is so beneficial to have it with 2 AMSs. Yeah, happy Memorial Day weekend. Go thank a veteran. But cool, guys. Thanks for hanging out. We're going to end stream now. We'll see you on Monday. Have a good weekend.